Next up, Chip hits the booth to mask off the red, white, and blue patriotic graphic on the Jeep's hood.
When I met with Roy, he told me that Sydney originally wanted to do the American flag on the Jeep. I thought, why not bring it in here, but do it in a real graphic manner?
After its premiere in 2004, Overhaulin grew to be one of the most viewed TV shows on cable television, catapulting its main star, Chip Foose, to fame as one of the most recognized personalities in the car design and customization industry. But in a span of 2 decades, the show was canceled and rebooted 3 different times. After its latest reboot in 2019, the show was axed for another time in 2020 after airing just 12 episodes. Join us as we do a deep dive into the rise and fall of Overhaulin. Overhaulin aired for 10 seasons, and at the center of it all, we have automotive designer Chip Foose. Chip was born on the 13th of October 1963 in Santa Barbara, California. He was one of 4 kids, but as the only son, he spent much of his time shadowing his dad, Sam Foose, who ran an automotive design business called Project Design. Chip's interest in cars was inspired by his father. As a youngster, he worked at Project Design, and that gave him the opportunity to meet several people in the automotive industry, and it drove him to pursue a career in automotive design. He attended the Art Center College for Design in Pasadena, California. After college, he started working for the legendary Boyd Coddington. However, when Boyd expanded his business, a move that resulted in him filing for bankruptcy, Chip bailed and started his own brand in 1984. He named it Foose Design. By the early 2000s, the name Foose Design was already respected in the automotive design community, and it wasn't long before Chip's work started attracting big names in the industry. This newfound popularity made Jesse James, the host of the TV series Monster Garage, invite Chip to be co-host and the series' main designer. However, Chip turned down the invite because he didn't see any value in the series. Upon turning down the invite, Chip told Jesse James that he didn't see the value of building a car no one would ever use. After Jesse James's proposal, a producer from Discovery Channel came calling with an idea of a show based on Chip's life, but Chip rejected their offer because he didn't want a reality TV show based on his life. However, producers were keen on having Chip host the series, and they kept introducing proposal after proposal. Eventually, Chip became interested in the idea of hosting a TV series, but decided that it had to be a true representation of his passion for car building. With that in mind, Chip came up with the idea for Overhaulin as a means to help people afford their dream car. He wanted a TV series that wouldn't just be about the cars, but also have some value by helping people. Overhaulin stood out from every other car-themed reality TV series at the time because it dared to do what no other show had done before. It had a unique storyline where Chip and his crew would steal or pretend to tow the cars they wanted to feature on the show to create an element of surprise for the owner. When the show started filming, many fans and viewers thought the pranks were staged, but that's not true. In fact, many of the car owners featured on Overhaulin usually report their cars stolen to the local police. When the local authorities found out the cars were stolen by Chip's crew, they had to explain that it was a prank for a reality TV show. As Overhaulin grew in popularity, Chip had to make friends with the local authorities so they could get away with these pranks and numerous theft reports. For Chip, Overhaulin was never about making cool cars. It was about giving people something truly valuable and safe to drive. Behind the scenes, he put in serious effort to make sure each car was built to last. Although the show's timeline shows a car being built in just 8 days, the owners don't actually drive it home right away. Chip knows that the demanding schedule can push his team to the limit, which might impact the safety of the overhauled cars. That's why Chip himself test drives every car after each build. If anything goes wrong, he wants to be the one in the driver's seat. Once filming wraps, he and his crew spend months making sure every project is safe and mechanically solid, so the car is ready for the long haul with its new owner. Every project carried out on Overhaulin was done free of charge.
Go ahead and open your eyes, man.
Holy beeping.
Though the producers advised the owners that they would be responsible for the increased value of the car under the rules of the Internal Revenue Service, they don't have to pay a dime. To ensure the owners do not have to pay anything aside from taxes, Discovery was spending $120,000 for every project it embarked on in the show's first season. But that hefty price tag would pay off as the network made its money back from advertising alone. And although Chip was placed on an initial salary of $2,500 per episode, it was later increased to $7,000 $1,000 per episode. Chip didn't mind how much he got paid as long as the show was a success, and it was. Overhaulin broke viewership records at Discovery, but why did it go through so many cancellations and reboots during its exceptionally long and successful run? After its premiere in 2004, Overhaulin seemed too big to fail. When it was first canceled in 2008, everyone was shell-shocked. How could that have happened? Aside from the Chip Foose factor, money played a huge role in the success of Overhaulin. The economic crisis of 2008 caused the show to lose its biggest advertisers, and Discovery wasn't able to sustain the high running costs it took to bring Overhaulin to our screens. After its first cancellation, Overhaulin was left on an uncertain status, and for everyone involved, it was supposed to be the end of the show. However, in 2012, Discovery reached out to Chip and asked to reboot and continue the show. Chip agreed to the reboot, but made the network extend the time frame needed to build the cars to 3 weeks because the previous schedule overworked him and took a toll on his health. Due to the longer time frame needed to restore the cars, the 2012 reboot of Overhaulin had longer and more detailed filming times. In 2015, Overhaulin was canceled again. Discovery wanted to cut costs by producing less expensive shows through third-party auto shops, but the budget cuts didn't just impact the network. Everyone associated with the show felt the pinch. When cars are overhauled on the show, their monetary value skyrockets, and the new owners quickly find out just how much their free upgrade will cost them. Most of them are unable to enjoy their overhauled rides because they couldn't afford the taxes on the increased value of the cars, and they end up having to sell them. Although many profit from the sale of their vehicles, it defeated Chip's goal of building dream cars for people who could not afford them. In addition to having the car owners pay their own taxes, Overhaulin was accused of using low-quality restoration parts that were sourced in exchange for advertising deals. With production costs always a challenge, the work of top-level designers and mechanics doesn't come cheap. To keep overhead low, Chip relied on partnerships with companies willing to donate parts or offer them at a discount in exchange for exposure. However, this didn't mean they skimped on quality. The crew at Overhaulin probably ensured that parts used for their car builds were not of low quality. Not every car owner walked away thrilled with their Overhaulin experience. One owner featured in the 5th episode of the 7th season shared a long list of frustrations. He claimed he'd warned the Overhaulin crew that his car wasn't ready for the highway, but they took it out anyway, and it overheated. He also said they used a power washer carelessly, letting water seep into the engine, which then got damaged. Other complaints included a faulty nitrous system, missing backup lights, and no gear indicator. While Overhaulin enjoyed a pretty successful run after a few seasons, the repetitive nature of the show made viewers begin to lose interest. Although fans liked the idea of helping out people, each episode was becoming very predictable. To help boost ratings, Overhaulin started doing celebrity overhauls, but things didn't go as planned. Fans and viewers thought that Overhaulin celebrity episodes were not true to the spirit of the show, and their opinions got worse as the show went on. The reception from the core audience regarding the celebrity overhauls led the show's producers to limit the celebrity episodes, but that did not stop ratings from taking a dive. Despite Overhaulin's iconic status, the network quickly considered cancellation once ratings dipped. TV executives, focused on revenue, saw cutting production costs as the best option. Nevertheless, after the cancellation in 2015, in June 2019, it was announced that the show would be returning for a new season on November 16, 2019 on Motor Trend. The network thought it would be a great idea to market another season after it had been away for 4 years. The Overhaulin reboot of 2019 was marketed as the show's final season before it was officially shelved for good. Fans were thrilled when Overhaulin made a comeback, but the excitement didn't last. The final season was a last-ditch effort to boost ratings, with the hope that a strong viewership would lead to more episodes and seasons, but after 12 episodes, the network chose not to renew it, likely because it didn't meet set expectations. Still, with the show's history of revivals, this might not be the end of Overhaulin just yet. In the meantime, Chip's loyal fans can keep up with his recent projects on his YouTube channel, Foose Design.